Thanks, Lucy. Morning, Khaya.
Hello.
Khaya, I guess you're pretty new to Test cricket, but you've got a lot of first-class experience, which is why I think I can ask you this. There's been quite a lot said and written about the batting kind of weaknesses in the South African lineup. As someone who knows a bit about batting, sorry, what do you think it is that it's going to take for guys to bat more time? I mean, obviously the pitch at the Gabba was its own issue, but just in general, and to score some more runs.
What do I think it's going to take for guys to score more runs? Look, I think from my side, it's just a matter of, we must just apply ourselves, get really focused, make sure that we're present at the crease all the time. Look, a lot of guys are new to Test cricket, so there's obviously new tricks. It's a different intensity. Guys are still trying to get used to that as well. And yeah, just really, really focus on the ball and have all your soul and might there, and give it your best shot. That's what I would give to guys. I mean, guys have got their own challenges, and they've got to find a way to work through it.
Thanks for those. We'll go Johan, then Ongama.
Morning, Khaya. You yourself, you're under a bit of pressure. You're brand new in the Test squad, and you're under pressure, and they gave you a pitch like that. How was it? It's not fair to go out and go play and make a mark for a pitch like that.
Yeah, no, I was saying to one of my teammates earlier in the week that the two games that I've got have finished in about 2 days. They've both been hectically very bowling friendly pitches, but I mean, you don't choose the conditions you get to play on as a player. That's the card we've been dealt with. I wouldn't obviously I'd love a flat track as a batsman, and the bowlers would hate it. I'm sure the more games and opportunities I get, I'll get onto better batting wickets.
Thanks, Johan. Ongama, then Stu.
How's it, Khaya? Just interested to find out how you would describe the patch that you guys are in as a batting group for the last while. From your perspective, how would you describe it? The phase that you guys are in as a batting group.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm relatively new to the squad. Played my first game in England, and now we're in Australia. I did think this year for all cricketers or anyone in the national Proteas team, it was going to be a tough year of international cricket. I mean, the first series was in New Zealand. It was New Zealand, then I think it was Bangladesh, then we went to England, and now we're in Australia. So you've got some tough competition, and it's a good test to see whether you can handle Test cricket as a player. And that's for everyone, whether it's a bowler or a batsman. I do think most of these, the pitches the guys have got on have been quite tough. I also do think, and as a batsman in England, it's tough. It was the first time for most guys going to England with the national team, so it's not going to be an easy task. And similarly, this side with the first pitch we've got. So I would just say it's a test for everyone, especially the batters, because the pitches haven't really been that friendly to them.
Thanks, Ongama. Stu, then Telford.
Thanks, Lucy. Hello, Khaya. Following that test, Dean spoke about the mental spaces that the batters were in, and you could deny what had happened, or you could just confront it. I just wanted to find out from your perspective, how did you confront what took place mentally, and what did you learn from it that can help you going forward?
Yeah, look, the one thing I've learned in just being around the team and just the two experiences I've had in terms of playing is that Test cricket is played, in between the stumps. The guys are testing your technique. They're making you play with a straight blade, and it's been very tricky wickets. So for me, it was a matter of just make sure you defend your stumps, because that's where all the dismissals happen when there was just too much in the pitch for the bowlers to really bowl short. And if they did bowl short, I felt like they were wasting their time. But if they put the ball up to the bat and trying to hit your pad or trying to nick you off, then definitely there was a lot happening there. So it was a matter of just making sure that you really, really watch the ball closely, and any movement off the pitch, whether it's up or down or sideways, you ahead of it so that you can adjust accordingly. Because I felt in the first innings the ball that nipped back for me hit me quite quickly, and then second innings I just made sure that I watched the ball even closer and move a little bit quicker, just in case if it nips or bounces or stays low, so that I can try react, just stay ahead of the ball.
Thanks, Stu. Telford?
How's it going? The match you're going to in Melbourne, that pitch, the previous test there was over in 3 days. So are you a little concerned that maybe the same thing is going to happen again? Not so much. I'm talking about the conditions. Are you worried about the conditions going forward in this series?
Well, if it finished in 3 days, it's longer than the 2 games I've played. So it's probably going to be a little bit better than what I've gotten so far. But I would say, look, we'll just wait and see what we get. I believe you can't play a game before you're actually in it. Going forward and thinking what the pitch is going to be like, and is it going to be bad, is it going to be good? I don't think that's a good space for us as a team or batsmen to really think about that until you actually get there and see what it is. I don't necessarily think they will prepare a pitch like they did last time, because it's been deemed under the below average, that pitch that we just came off. So I'm sure there's going to be an effort to make it more fair in terms of bat and ball.
Thanks. We'll go one again for Ngama, and then the next one is saved as iPhone, so I'm not too sure who that is. So if you could just indicate who you are under iPhone, and then Telford, you can also have another go as well. So Ngama.
Thanks, Lucy. Khaya, we had Dean talking about the pitch and how everyone needs to take into consideration the difficult batting conditions that you guys have been faced with. But I'm just interested in those conversations that Dean Elgar is having with you guys as a batting group. Does it stop there, or do you guys sort of try and also talk about how to sort of try and be successful in those conditions, because that's the conditions that you guys have been dealt with. And for you guys to win test matches, you have to try and score runs in those conditions. Do those conversations stop there, or do you guys try and find solutions to these difficult conditions you've been faced with?
Yes, there's always communication and conversations about what we can do to be successful on a particular surface. That always happens. It's like standard. But if it's a tough wicket, it's a tough wicket. Both teams better on it, and if you scored a 30 or a 40 on that pitch, it was like gold. So yeah, to answer your question, those chats do happen.
Thanks, Ngama. So I see iPhone is Mark Summers of Fox Sports, so we'll go Mark, then Telford.
G'day, Khaya. Yeah, thanks for taking this question. Just on the plans that you had against Australia, it looked like Kyle Rani, was able to, get away in the first innings, but in the second innings, it didn't look like there was a lot of planning going ahead to the likes of Stark and Boland and Cummins. Could you just give us a little bit of an idea on what you're going to work on next against the Aussies and that pace attack? Because obviously they're going to come harder again. They want to wrap up the series. What have you guys been working on to kind of negate that kind of speed of Cummins and Stark, and even Boland or Hazelwood if he comes in?
Well, look, I don't think it's necessarily the speed that's an issue. I think they bowled very well. They were on the money, as much as maybe in the second innings they also realized that there was a lot happening closer to the stump, so they obviously got their areas a bit better than the first innings. I think for us it will definitely take us having stronger defences, making sure that we keep those good balls out, because there's a lot of them floating around in Test cricket. I think that'll probably be the main thing. If they can't get you out, then you've got half a chance of scoring runs.
Thanks. We're going to go Telford, then Neil.
Yeah. Sorry.
Thanks. Khaya, I'm just interested to know, is your father a cricket person? And has he been in touch, or what kind of cricket chats might you have with him?
I try not speak too much cricket with him. or my family, but I'll just let them know how I've done. I'd let them know how things are going. They'll just check up on me here and there. But yeah, he's a man of the law, and I'm a cricketer. It's two different things.
Thanks, Telford. Neil?
Hello, Khaya. Spoke to Dean after the test, and I asked him whether he considered trying to throw a few counter punches in the second innings, given that wickets were falling every 28 balls. And he said that he did consider it at lunchtime at 3 for 2. There didn't seem to be much to lose, and he said he considered it, but he preferred to see guys grit it out. How would you have felt if he'd said, not throw caution to the wind, obviously, but play a few more shots, just try and get some runs on the board because there's going to be a ball with your name on it? Was that even possible in those conditions?
Yeah, I think you could have done that, but even if you do, throw caution to the wind, or you counter punch, you could do it and you could nick the ball, or you could do it and it nips back and it bowls you. It was just one of those. Not many batsmen succeeded on the pitch. So I think Travis Head batted very well. He threw a few punches. Calvert did in the first innings as well. So you look at it, there was like maybe 4 batters out of all the innings that actually added anything of substance on the pitch. So yeah, we could have, but I think most of the guys didn't even in our second innings, didn't get a chance to counter punch because it was quite quick dismissals. Before you could even get in, you were out, and a lot of the wickets fell in clusters. So as a batter, to even get in was tough. But once you were in, you could try and bat on it, and you could form some sort of a partnership with your partner.
Thanks, Neil. We are going to start taking the last rounds here. So we're going to go Johan and Firdaus, as well as Mark then.
What is the feeling in a camp about the classification by the match referee, only 1 demerit point?
Sorry, please repeat that.
What is the feeling in the camp about the Gabba pitch only getting 1 demerit point and the classification of under average?
Yeah, no, I haven't asked the guys how they feel about it, to be honest. So yeah, that's how I could answer your question.
Thanks, Johan. Firdaus?
Khaya, I guess everybody's talking a lot about the batting, but there was one spectacular moment with your catch there. Can you maybe just talk a little bit through that and kind of how quickly it came to you, or how you reacted, and sort of how you felt afterwards?
Well, yeah, no, I remember just before we went onto field, I was doing some training at short leg with our coach, Malibongwe, and funny enough, well, first ball, I saw the way his bat went up, and it almost gave me an indication that the ball is going to probably come into my direction, and it did. I just had to try stay in the air a little bit longer, because it was one of those where if you don't get your jump right, then you're either too early or you're too late. And just got it perfectly, and yeah, just made sure that I hold on to the ball, because it was my first catch in Test cricket, so yeah, I needed it. I needed one of those. I took enough short leg hits in the practice game.
Thanks for those. Mark?
Yeah, just on the man you caught, David Warner in terrible form at the moment and struggling for runs. The bowling unit, have they spoken about how they're going to zero in on David? And I guess yourself play a role in that at short leg. Any banter directed at the Raging Bull?
No, there was no banter. But I'm sure our bowlers are focused on all the Australian batters. They've got a strong batting lineup, and he's not the only dangerous batter they have, I'd suppose. So I'm sure they've probably got their plans on all the batters.
Thanks. We will take the last 2, that from Ted and the lastly from Ongama.
Hi, Khaya. Great to have you guys over here. There's been a bit of debate about Boland and Hazelwood, who gets that final spot in the Aussie team. Yes, who would you prefer they pick?
Well, as a batsman, I think it's a tough choice. So they both very good. I've seen their stats. I guess I suppose it's one of those where it's a flip of a coin, really, to be honest. They're both very good bowlers. And whoever they give us, they will have to deal with them.
Thanks. And then just lastly on Gabba.
Yeah. Khaya, just on the step up from domestic cricket to Test cricket, how have you found that, and what's the difference between the two for the cricket here at home?
Yeah, well, look, I've played some A-side cricket, so that's probably that might just help me adjust to the level a little bit easier. I've played a little bit of one-day cricket as well. But I would say the difference is the intensity and the execution of the skills. That's definitely there's quite a difference. Here they don't give you much to score off as a batsman. You've got and you also can't just sit on one end and think that you'll survive, because the bowlers will find a way to work you out. So I would say definitely the intensity that you've got to play at. And I feel like impact moments, when boundaries are hit, when like the guy nicks the ball and the catches happen, it happens at a much faster speed than at franchise level. But you do have, for example, here you've got Mitchell Starc, who bowls over 140. You've got Pat Cummins the same. So you've got guys in the attack, more than two bowlers all the time who bowling at 140 plus, where at franchise maybe you don't necessarily have guys who bowl 140 in each team who can do that consistently from both ends. So, and then, when the paces are gone, then you've got Nathan Lyon, world-class off-spinner as well. So it's just, the guys are ruthless in terms of how they execute their skills, and their basics are sharp. So that's the one thing that I've really learned. And the lines in which you've got to play in as a batter are also, you've got to really defend your stumps and watch for your off stump as well.